very much. First, thank you for inviting me to be with you today. And the history is so important given the fact that now probably 75 to 80% of the Congress were not there when we authorized PEPFAR. So we have a lot of education to do.
Yeah.
But my involvement really came as a result of my predecessor, Congressman Ron Dellums, a great statesman who, after he left Congress, I talked to him about his vision for an AIDS Marshall Plan for Africa. Mm-hmm. And subsequent to that, we put together with Congressman Jim Leach the Global AIDS and Tuberculosis Relief Act of 2000, which Bill Clinton signed. Okay, after that, when President Bush was elected, the Congressional Black Caucus, then it was chaired by a Texan, Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. We decided, and Eddie Bernice wanted the CBC to meet with President Bush early in his term. So this was in early 2001. We met with President Bush, and of course, she asked what we would all want to talk about, and I immediately said, I want to talk about a global response to the HIV/AIDS pandemic. I knew what was going on in Africa. I'd been to Africa. I had been with actually Jesse Helms' staffer, bipartisan delegation. So I really felt a sense of urgency to talk to our new president about this. And so we went around the room in the office and we talked. And when it was my turn, I talked about what I thought made sense in terms of a global response to HIV and AIDS. And I had on my beaded ribbon. And had it pinned on. And we talked in depth, and he turned to, I believe Secretary Powell was there, as well as Secretary Rice. He said, Condi and Cohen, let's get together, let's follow up on this. I knew immediately that he wanted to do something. Yeah, he wanted to do it. And then after the meeting, we stood in line and took a photo, and I had a chance to talk to him further about this, and he asked me about the ribbon, the button, the beaded pin I had on, and I took it off and gave it to him. And I told him that this was made by women in South Africa and used for fundraising for HIV and AIDS clinics and what have you. So during that year, we actually worked on a PEPFAR bill, and we passed it through the House. I was on the Foreign Affairs Committee then with Chairman Hyde and Mr. Lantos. And I have to give the staff a lot of credit because our staffs, they did unbelievable work day and night, working with the administration, working with everyone here to get the first PEPFAR bill through the House. The Senate, the negotiations failed, I believe, the first year in the Senate. And so at the end of 2001, we did not have a PEPFAR yet. But in December, and I brought this letter because I wanted to read just a part of it signed by every member of the Black Caucus. In December of 2002, we said, as members of the Congressional Black Caucus, we are writing to draw your attention again to the growing spread of HIV and AIDS throughout the developing world. It would be impossible to overstate the devastation caused to date by the global AIDS pandemic. So we go on and talk about that. And then we say in the letter, again, December 2002, most importantly, a U.S. initiative should consist of new monies and policies that complement existing U.S.-supported programs and are additional to the Millennium Challenge account. And then we say, you will have our strong support and the support of the American people for a bold new initiative to save families and communities affected by the AIDS crisis, to extend the parent-child relationship, and to secure the future of young people. And we suggested that he say something in the State of the Union about this bold initiative. And this was the letter, I think, I want to make sure is in the record, because every member of the Congressional Black Caucus signed this. And so we sat very proud and intently to listen to his State of the Union. And when he announced the $15 billion at the State of the Union in 2003, we knew that we were, working together to make sure that we would save the millions of lives. That,
there's 14 million people alive because of what you just said.